Hi, my name is Robin Home, and I'm so happy to be back here in the Rancho Vignola kitchen with you all. So today's recipe is fun, quick, easy, and delicious. Now, I'm one of those people that really believes that if a dessert isn't chocolate, then it just isn't worth it. And I'm always looking for healthy chocolate recipes that do not taste healthy. Well, this recipe definitely qualifies on all fronts. And the best part is you only need 4 ingredients to make this magic happen. These pecan date clusters are a lot like a healthy turtle. For that gooey caramel center, we're gonna be using these medjool dates. We're gonna be using these organic baby pecans, and then the organic semi-sweet chocolate chips. We're gonna finish the whole thing off with a twist of pink salt. And I do have some coconut oil here, just in case as we're melting our chocolate, it's a little bit too thick and we need to thin it out with this. So the first thing that you need to do is get a cookie sheet ready with some parchment paper, and then we're ready to melt our chocolate. The best way to melt chocolate is with a double boiler, but if you don't have one, a really nice alternative is to use a glass Pyrex without the rubber bottom and just put it right into a pot of water that's just at a gentle boil. We don't want it to be at a rolling boil because it's easy to burn the chocolate that way. I'm noticing that it is a pretty thick chocolate, so I'm gonna put a scoop of coconut oil in there just to thin it out a little bit. It won't damage the end product because these pecan clusters are actually gonna be stored in the freezer. This is already melted because it's warm here near the stove. I'm gonna take about a tablespoon of the oil and add it into my chocolate. You gotta be really careful not to burn yourself here because there's steam coming up off the water. Okay, so as I'm stirring that, that's already looking a lot smoother, more liquidy. It's still a little bit thicker than I'd like it to be for dipping, so I'm gonna add a little bit more coconut oil, probably about that level tablespoon that I added last time. It's almost completely melted now, so we know that that's just a little bit thicker than I'd like it. That looks perfect. I'm gonna turn off the heat and just leave it in the pot while I prepare the pieces to be dipped. That way it'll keep it nice and liquid for us. Here's what we do next. You're gonna take one of those medjool dates. We're going to cut this into 4 pieces, which is going to make 4 pecan clusters. So opening it up, and then we're gonna cut it again right in half. You can see how this is nice and juicy and sticky on the inside, which is going to help to get the pecan stuck on there. I'm going to select a pecan and just press it into the base of this date. I'll take a second one and put it beside. Now, if you're working with a jumbo pecan, you would just take one and turn it on its side. Now that I have that in there, I'm going to mold the edges up around the pecan. That will help to hold them in place when I go to dip them in the chocolate. I also like to put the pecans with their spiny side facing up because it just looks prettier when the chocolate's melted around it. We are ready to play with the chocolate. Make sure that you have enough toothpicks handy because you'll need quite a few for this. You're gonna stab that little cluster right through the date and see how the pecan's gonna stick right on there. So now I'm gonna just dip it into the chocolate, wait for some of it to drip off, and transfer it to the parchment paper using my other toothpick to get it off. Let's try that again. Stab in through the date, dip in the chocolate, allow it to drip, and transfer to the cookie sheet. And you can just use that first toothpick to cover up any holes left over. While those are still nice and hot and gooey, I'm gonna take my rock salt and just a real quick twist, not much at all, and that salt really offsets the sweet flavor of the dates. All right, so these are ready for the freezer. You'll wanna leave them in there for about an hour before you try sampling them, and then when you're ready to store them, just an airtight container and back in the freezer. They will last in there as long as they last.